Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We got some trades to discuss. Lance Lynn on the move. Angels taking all the Iglesiases. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. My name is Jimmy. Sitting next to me is Jake. We got producer Bug Dude in the corner. And Trevor Plouffe coming to you from California. We got some news dropped on us last night. I've been very excited to talk about it, Trev. I've been telling Jake, don't tell me any of your thoughts in the office all day. Just holding them in. We got two trades that happened. We got some other news. We got a lot going on. I'm excited about it. But first, what I'm very excited to tell the Talkin' Baseball listeners is there will not be an episode on Thursday this week because we will be live all day from noon until 8 p.m. on the main Jomboy Media YouTube channel with so many guests coming through. Jeff Passan, Michael K., Foolish Baseball, Buster Only, and more that we have not announced yet. We're excited about it, so make sure you tune in. All right,
big ones.
Trev, how you doing?
I'm so excited to be here with you guys. I gotta tell you, my attitude, as you can see, is super positive right now, and it's because I started a dad workout group in my neighborhood, and day one was this morning.
What are you guys doing?
I'm super jacked. Got endorphins running through the body. It's going to be a great episode. I feel like I'm at the top of my game right now, and it's only workout number one. Like, give me 2 or 3 weeks. Look out. Look out.
Jake, how's your dad workout group going?
I'm good. I, too, have some endorphins going through my body right now. Excited about the baseball move. It feels like the stove's going. Still pitchers only, which doesn't get me super jazzed up. Me and Trev, we both have hitting backgrounds. So I'm excited that the stove is starting to pick up. Winter meetings are kind of happening for MLB. They're big time happening for Jomboy Media. Excited for Thursday. If you're a baseball fan, check in with us during the day or stay the whole 8 hours, barring technical difficulties. And we're gonna have a lot of fun. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. How are you doing, Tim?
I'm doing well. I am excited that we got some news. I just, as I peed right before the show, I was like, man, we might get, like if we get news night before Thursday or day of, it totally makes the live stream a little more fun, get to pick everyone's ear on it right away. So I'm excited for the news to keep coming. I'm really interested. I like this Lance Lynn trade for the discussions it brings. I really want to find out your guys' thoughts on it. So, let's just dive right in. The Rangers have traded Lance Lynn to the White Sox for right-hand pitcher Dane Dunning and left-hand pitcher Avery Weems. Now, Dunning made his debut in 2020. He was coming off Tommy John. He was a top 100 prospect. He was a first-round pick. He actually came to the White Sox in the Adam Eaton trade that also had Giolito come over. So that's cool whenever you can make a trade turn into another piece. So if you want to combine years, the Rangers get Lance Lynn. The Rangers trade Lance Lynn. The White Sox get Lance Lynn for 1 year. The Rangers get Dunning for up to 6 years. It could get stretched out if there's more injuries or something else going on. And then Weems is not a top prospect, but potential to be a lefty arm. Now, here's my first take on this.
First take?
If the White Sox got Lance Lynn for 2 years, or they did this move last year and got him for 1.5 years, I'd love it for every side. Right now, I like this trade for fans and the Rangers, and I don't love it for the White Sox.
Ooh, stinky. So Dane Dunning, you touched on him a little bit. He was wearing the sexy glasses this year, southpaw, twirling it. We've also mentioned him. He was on that Florida team that had a bunch of now pro players. There's like Alonso, all that stuff. Lefty doesn't pump high numbers on the guns, but he gets people out. He's a righty, excuse me. I was going to say his initials are Dad, so I'm excited for him to become a dad. Dane Anthony Dunning. He's been a top 100 prospect. The question is, like what you're saying with the years, Jim, it's 1 year of Lance Lynn. 1 year, $8 million. So the price tag is also really good, and I do think that is important, and I think that's what factored in. Because basically, Lance Lynn's been really good. There's some stats you can spin with Lance Lynn that have him really good. Jason Stark, one of my short kings that I bend the knee to in this world, he tweeted out, in the AL, top 10 in ERA, WHIP, and K per 9 each of the last 2 seasons, Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber, Lance Lynn. You're dancing with stats, but it brings back to the point, Lance Lynn has probably been better than you've assumed Lance Lynn has been.
We love Lance Lynn.
We love Lance Lynn. Pumping heaters in the South Side, the Trevor Plouffe story.
Right down the middle. Got him.
So you're excited if you're the White Sox. You've got a team going for it. Value-wise, I think you're right, Jim. If Dane Dunning can give you 3 seasons as an MLB starter, value-wise, you've done pretty good.
Or next year, if Dane Dunning can give you 70% of what Lance Lynn can give you next season. That's why I said I really like this trade for the fans, because we're going to get a pretty quick answer, like a year from now. We'll be able to know who won or who lost, if it was smart or dumb. Like, if the White Sox somehow don't even make the playoffs, if Lance Lynn gets hurt, if Dunning pitches well for the Rangers and his stats are anywhere comparable to Lance Lynn, you'd be like, probably shouldn't have done that.
I think the only thing that I think you're missing before kicking it to Trev is the money value side of this. All this talk about free agency, Drew Smyly getting 1 year, $11 million for Drew Smyly, which, hey, his numbers ticked up and we'll see. Lance Lynn, you're getting 1 year, kind of still probably towards the back end of his prime at $8 million, which is a huge value. And the White Sox fill a starting rotation staff, and they can save that money. They don't have to go out and pay big money for a free agent. So I think the math and the numbers were a part of the deal there.
Trav, what do you got?
You guys are hitting all over it. I mean, this can be a win for both teams. I think the White Sox really realize, hey, we got a pretty good team, and the AL Central is not that good right now. You know, the Indians are out of it. The Tigers are still having to come up and figure some things out. We'll see how the Twins react. I think that they're still going to be a good team, but they're losing some pieces. We'll see, if they bring Nelson Cruz back. But I think they're just realizing there's a window here. And you're right, Jake. You can get a guy like Lance Lynn who's performed, in the elite tier of pitchers over the last couple of years. You get him for $8 million. That's a win for you because they're in a nice little window now. And then the Rangers, you guys know how I feel about the Rangers. They're not even close to competing. So when you get a guy like this with years of control, I think it's a win-win for both of these organizations. The Rangers did not need Lance Lynn next year, and the White Sox do.
Here's what I don't think the Rangers can really lose this trade. If you want to say winners and losers of trades, this is smart. They got a guy for 6 years. They can turn Dunning. They can flip Dunning again if they still want to get deeper into prospects, or he's great and they have him under control for a while. The White Sox can lose this deal if they're not good for some reason, if Lynn gets injured, if Dunning performs on an equal level as Lynn. There's a lot of different ways the White Sox can be like, oh, damn, this sucks. I don't think there's many ways for the Rangers to do that. But I'm happy the Rangers are committed to this.
Frame.
What's that?
I think they're looking at this trade like in a time frame. Like they understand like in the long run, over 5 years, they're probably going to lose this trade. Dane Dunning, he's got the pedigree and the value. But I think maybe they're also thinking, look, if we can get Lance at $8 million this year before he can test that open market, maybe we can sign him to a team-friendly deal for 2 more years.
Yeah, and even if they make a deep playoff run, even if they go to like the ALCS, I think that gets them, and it's a win for them. They don't need to win the World Series in their brain, and in the fans, you would like to say that's the only way you win, but that's why I think it's interesting. I like the move. I'm really happy the Rangers did it and didn't hold on to him. They tried to trade him from what I've heard from people very close to the situation. They tried to trade him real hard, but they thought no one was matching the price that Lynn was worth last offseason. So they were trying to move him already, so I think it was like going to happen. If you're a Rangers fan, you need to rebuild. You need to do this. So I like it for the Rangers. I could like it for the White Sox. I don't hate it yet, but there's just a lot of room for it to be like,
Yeah, I mean, I think normally I'm the prospect guy and you're not, and I think we're giving Dane Dunning a lot of love. I mean, let's see it. You're saying this could be an instant win. I mean, if Lance Lynn goes out and drops dick this year and Dane Dunning, doesn't become a major league guy, rotation guy.
Yeah, but even if the White Sox, if Lynn is amazing and the White Sox don't get anywhere, they'd still rather Dunning to be part of their.
You're giving it a chance. I mean, you're going Giolito, you're going Keuchel, you're going Lance Lynn.
I like it. I
Dylan
like the
Cease had a really nice year, and he was a bigger prospect than Dunning. The Kopech thing, we'll see if that ever gets figured out for the White Sox. I mean, we'll see. I think
White Sox got better.
And Lance Lynn, again, if you want to use pitcher WAR, and teams measure everything differently, if Lance Lynn puts up a big boy WAR season again, if he puts up a 5 or a 6 WAR, which he can, and he's shown the past couple years, if you start measuring things that way, that would be, 4 good seasons of Dane Dunning. So I like it. When we did hear rumors about the Lance Lynn stuff, we heard that they were asking for not a king's ransom, but a good amount. And you get the piece. And I think when we look back at, the Cleveland Indians trade with Clevenger, we were like, okay, who's the guy? And you got your different people who are like, actually, this guy's the guy. And don't look at the prospects. No, Dane Dunning's the guy. Hopefully he figures it out. Maybe Texas is a pitching place now, and maybe it helps Dane Dunning, and they do get a good young arm through his prime. So I like it. Both teams are going for it. And, Trev, like you were alluding to, your AL Central, we'll see what the Twins are about to do this offseason. We think Cleveland's going to take a bunch of blows. Like, there's a world if the Twins don't make some of the big moves. Like, they still have talent on the way. Like, we're going to be starting to talk some more Tigers competing for second in the AL Central. So the White Sox have clearly made the jump. They are the one team right now.
Yeah, I think you need to pump the brakes on the Tigers.
I won't.
Overtaking the Twins.
Ray.
Let me ask you guys a question, and this is a segue / question. You're welcome. Does this count as Chris Young's first official move, or do you think this was already in progress before Chris?
You would have to think that
he's got to sign off on it.
But he was with. It's not like he had nothing to do with the organization. Didn't they move him from one position to this position?
No, he was working
in the MLB office.
Oh, MLB office. So GMs never get credit. Even Kim Ng, if the Marlins win this year, people will be like, that wasn't her team.
They built it 5 years ago.
It happens with the Red Sox. It happened with Cashman's 90s Yankees.
Towards a rebuild.
I'll say this, Trev. I do. I mean, he's the one that does have to sign off on it, we're assuming. And
I would hope as part of the interview process, they here are 5 offers for Lynn. Which one would you
Which
take?
one do you like? We like this. I'll say this. So, again, going back on this Lance Lynn conversation, we heard they were asking for a lot. This, I feel like Chris Young probably came in, maybe, again, I would love to know how these people actually work. Is there a Slack with all the MLB GMs, and he said, hey, give me one good young starting pitcher, and you get Lance Lynn?
I'll tell you where you can find out about that, Jake. On a new show that's premiering tomorrow on the Jomboy Media YouTube page called GM Files, hosted by a whole crew of ex-GMs, Bobby Evans, Jim Duquette, a rotating cast talking about trades that almost happened and how that went down, trades that did happen and how that went down, free agency signings, how that went down. BBD, our very own producer, has been sitting in and producing those episodes. Are you excited for the public to hear some of this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Give us your number one teaser.
Oh, should it be about the one that's coming out tomorrow?
It's about a player thinking his trade to the Pinstripes was so close, he shaved his face.
Give us an O with your biggest level of reaction when you heard something like, oh, or like, oh.
He's an guy.
It went with like a
Okay.
Right.
That's an ad.
Well, that comes out tomorrow. Wednesdays, they will be released on the main channel. And yeah, if you're a real one, if you love Jomboy Media, you've been with us from the start. Shares, retweets, likes, subscribes, all that help us. People came to us with the show and they're excited about it. So let's spread the word. Appreciate you. That was not even a planned ad. Jake led me right into that, and I don't think he did it on purpose.
That's how I do it. BBD, hit the goddamn passing button. I knew it.
I love it.
Passing. Adam Eaton to the White Sox. 1 year, $7 million.
Back home.
I told Jimmy, I felt it in my bones. We were gonna get some of the break-in stuff.
Did Passon text you?
No, sorry, my life. I was taking a guess. I was talking out of my butt.
Interesting. When he was there, the clubhouse was in disarray. I wonder about the clubhouse with Eaton and La Russa now, and that being such like a loosey-goosey fun vibe. Although Adam Eaton was loosey-goosey fun, like dad jokes.
The Nats, yeah.
On the Nats.
You don't worry about Adam Eaton in that clubhouse. He's going to do just fine. He's exactly what they need in that clubhouse. I still worry about old man Tony, but Adam is going to be perfect there. I love this move.
And I mean, that's the White Sox. He was on the White Sox in 2016. So that clubhouse has changed a lot, and it's almost going to be 5 years.
Yeah, sure.
Great depth for them. That is great.
1 year, $7 million with a second-year team option for 8.5, which they will not take.
Good for him, man.
Which they will decline. But
how funny is that?
We'll see. Play really good, Adam Eaton.
That's so stupid. They just hang that big. If you play real good, we'll pay you 8.5 next year.
Hey,
you don't care because there's probably a buyout. So he was like, all right,
probably $1 million buyout. Probably $1 million buyout, right? I don't know. That's usually what it is.
If Adam Eaton does his 2019, I mean, 365 on base. He played 151 games, 15 homers. And how many times did you hear me talk about it when we were referencing the Nationals? I was like, Trey Turner and Adam Eaton, like before Soto? What are we kind of doing? But those guys really did a good job setting the table. I think you could put Eaton near the top of the lineup if a couple bodies go down. If you put Adam Eaton in an 8 or 9 hole and reset the lineup, that's a pesky guy. I mean, this White Sox team is stacked, and I love that they're making moves. I mean, I like that they're making moves. I've been saying this about the Braves. The Braves go out, they get their guys, they have an offseason. The White Sox, bang, Lance Lynn, Adam Eaton, let's go get it.
We talked about it. We said if teams that decide to be aggressive this offseason are going to get some good players because there's a lot of teams that are going to be passive, and they've already come out and said that in the public. So the White Sox, they're just striking. They're like, all right, we can get this guy, this guy, this guy. I love Adam Eaton. He's one of the reasons why I think baseball is the greatest sport in the world. If you look at Adam Eaton outside of a baseball field, you're going to be like, okay, whatever. This guy is a guy, but he's like a real deal Major League Baseball player. He's been around. This has got to be his closing in on his 10th season, maybe like 8 or 9. World Series champ. I love it.
9 years in the bigs.
I love it, man. That's a great move.
Listed at 5'9", 176. So what are we saying? 5'7", $120?
He is a pesk to a pesk. Like a great at bat.
5'4", 85.
He's one of those guys that can get really hot too and like carry an offense, which is strange to say, but he's a good ball player.
White Sox making moves. I like that.
Miami of Ohio guy, Jim.
I'll tell Luke.
Really hairy, too.
You have a brother
hairy.
there.
Yes, but I hate it.
Sorry, Miami of Ohio
because it takes my brother away from me.
My brother away from me.
And I miss him.
Okay.
You want to move on to the next trade that happened?
Ooh.
I have one more note on the Eaton thing. He is who they traded to get Dane Dunning and Giolito.
Yeah, so it's full circle, right?
Full circle.
Love
so
that
full
circle-ish. And I think most importantly, Adam Eaton on Twitter, 40K follows, 0 following Adam Spanky Eaton.
Love it.
So.
Big Little Rascals guy?
I don't want to say most important, but.
You give off huge Little Rascals vibes with that vest.
Yeah, I am a Little Rascal.
I love the Little Rascals. I just watched that with the kids.
The 1994 one?
Yeah,
with
the old
Whoopi
one.
Goldberg?
I think both of them eventually.
That one's awesome. And the skies opened up and God said, I hate you, alfalfa. It's a great movie. How do you plead?
All time.
How do you plead
Great movie.
like this? Please, oh, please have mercy, please.
Losing them.
Where are all those kids right now? Like, that's something you got to look.
Oh, dead.
Drugs.
The producer drugged them all.
Drugs.
Yeah.
What?
There's actually corpses and puppets.
There's got to be
all
one of
around.
them that's famous now, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe not.
Okay.
All right, moving on. The Reds have traded their closer, Raisel Iglesias, to the Angels, who haven't had like a steady, solid closer in a long time. This is a 1-year rental for $8 or $9 million, but the Angels are also getting money from the Reds, and they're trading a 31-year-old guy, Noe Ramirez, who's 31 and like not any. This is the Reds salary dumping. Their closer who's not making that much money. This is a sign of the times. Brad Hand doesn't get a 1-year, $10 million deal, and Raisel Iglesias gets moved with like no return, and they're paying to move him. So it's good for the Angels, a 1-year deal to help out their bullpen, and they get a closer now. It's the Reds are, they're trading now. They're selling pieces. Sonny's on the market, but like the return for this, I don't know. I don't fully get it. It's just like the market's bad. Good for the Angels, I guess. Do you guys have any insight on this? Because I was trying to wrap my head around it for a while. I was like, what?
I just think that this is, I mean, they went for it for 1 year, the Reds.
Yeah,
Went
that
for 1
sucked.
year.
That was embarrassing.
Well, also tough for them that it was this year.
Why?
60 games.
They had
dude.
all the opportunity in the world.
I'm just
this
saying
year.
60 games. Like the Reds put all their chips in and they got a shit sandwich.
Well, they traded for the Bradley, and I thought they were going to have him next
That
year,
was
and
bad.
now they get Raisel, so they're just dropping dollars in their bullpen.
But again, think about everything we've heard. You know, the Reds spent and they got guys and they put all their money in the pot for last season, and then what happens? There's no fans in the stands. Like the Reds finance chart probably had them spending some good money, but it also had them, packing the house and getting some playoff money, and they did not.
Yeah.
I mean, and now they're stuck with a couple of guys. Love these guys, but they paid top dollar for a few of their bats who are aging out of positions as well, and there's no DH on the horizon. Like it's a pretty shitty situation for the Cincinnati Reds to be in. They did go for it last year, like you said. They didn't get any monetary return, and now they're trading Sonny Gray. They traded their closer. Bauer's gone. Votto's on the tail end of his career, and you got a bunch of money locked up in our guy Moose and Castellanos. It wouldn't surprise me if they move those guys too, but they're in it's going to be a rough one for the Reds here.
Buster Olney tweet the other day, Reds cutting payroll, Cubs cutting payroll, Cardinals managing payroll, Brewers managing payroll, Pirates rebuilding. That doesn't even have, that's the whole NL Central. That doesn't have Cleveland. That hasn't, the Royals actually got Mike Minor, so I'm not going to give them any spunk. But the outside of the Chicago White Sox, the Central teams are
That's what I'm telling you, man.
The NL Central is a shit fest.
Be aggressive in today's marketplace, and you can come up with some good players, and you can win some championships, or at least make the playoffs. If you want to end a drought, like this is the time to do it.
I mean, for the Angels, it's kind of like, really?
Yeah.
We get this dude?
We've been looking for a guy like this for a while.
You're going to give us cash?
Hopefully this means that they're going to go out and get some other pitching, because they don't necessarily need – I mean, they need relievers, but more importantly, for the last 50 years, they need starters too. Like, let's go.
Yeah, this
Hopefully
doesn't really even get the Angels up one level, but it's in the right direction. It's a great start. There's no harm in this move for the Angels. It's only gain and benefit. They're getting money. They're getting this dude who's been a closer now for 5 years in the league with some pretty good numbers, legit closer. They haven't had a closer for a long time. And they're only giving up a guy who they have no stock or faith in, and a player to be named later. We'll figure out who that is, but usually that's not a shocker. So If you're an Angels fan, awesome. You got all the Iglesias, both of them. They were born one day apart in January of 1990.
Where are they
both
from?
In Cuba.
Trev?
Love that.
So they were teammates on the Reds, I believe, at one point.
Yeah, and it's if you're an Angels fan, you got to be pretty stoked. You get the new GM. You know, this is almost as safe of a move as you can make. I mean, an established closer still in his prime, 1 year. You're not giving up much. You know, and you start reworking this entire pitching staff. Let's start at the back. All right, we got him. The free agent market is still littered with guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they get two or more bullpen guys. They DFA'd, I think, 5 guys from their bullpen at the DFA line. So I really like the new GM, Perry Minasian.
Mason.
Perry Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Manasseh.
Sounds like a clothing
Manassian.
brand.
That is
Manasseh.
Mini Mason.
Minnie Mason.
Let me ask you guys
I've said
something.
this before, saw
Yeah.
one presser with him, and I decided I like him, so go Angels.
He saw one social media video of you, decided
God.
he hates you.
Not
Actually
his
sent an
kinda
email.
guy.
Sent an email, said,
Not his kind
not
of
interested. And we were like, in what? And he was like,
guy.
anything.
The kid from the Little Rascals looks terrible.
Yeah. Well, they were all hopped up on drugs. That damn producer drugged him up. Trev, what do you got?
Jake's
He's
about to get him
still
back.
wearing the turtleneck he wore in the Little Rascals. He's still wearing it.
It's like a glove.
How do you plead?
All right.
Yeah.
We've seen this in other sports.
Mhm.
Superstars. And so specifically, we're talking about basketball here.
we go.
Superstars take over managing the team, running the team, essentially. LeBron and his agent are doing that in Los Angeles. Is there any credence to thinking that Trout, new GMs, like, hey, Perry, I'm here. I'm the best player in baseball. Surround me with some talent. Let me get to the playoffs. Like, let's do this together.
Have you ever heard about Trout and the GM talk, Trev? Like it's
I have not.
always articles that Trout's always coming into like the GM. Who knows if it's true, but it was like a storyline they tried to push, or it is true that he would come in with like the depth chart of the minor leaguers and being like, "Oh, I like how this kid looks in Double-A. What do you think?" You know, and like he's like looking into that for the very reason you're saying. Probably he's like, "Hey, is anyone on the way here?"
Dude,
so they do say that
come
Trout does
on.
like being playing GM or like that stuff.
Well, hey, man, I think that maybe Perry would welcome that. This is your guy. You got to keep this guy happy. He's who puts asses in the freaking seats right now. Until you get to the playoffs, it's Mike Trout and Mike Trout only.
And
Nobody's
Trout
gonna see
knows no
Anthony
one's like
Rendon.
taking his spot. Like some MLB players might like avoid looking at studs in the minors because they're like, fuckers coming for my spot.
Yeah,
Trout's like,
this is Mike Trout. That's what I'm saying. This is Mike Trout here.
I think that story was Trout was in the GM's office one time, saw the big board, and saw a guy from spring training he liked, and he's like, that kid's pretty good. GM's like, okay, yeah. I think Mike Trout likes 3 things: playing baseball, the weather, and
Slushies.
the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, he likes slushies.
He does like
apparently.
slushies too. We'll make it 4
Love
things.
plushies, yeah.
4 things. You know, and you're looking at the Angels. That lineup's pretty much there. You'd like to see them bring in another body at catcher, but I mean, you know, Anthony Rendon, Iglesias, Fletcher, Justin Upton, Mike Trout, Joe Adell if he figures it out, Shohei Ohtani.
Jodell.
They're still there, man. Rengifo, your
They need
guy, Jim.
pitching. They
They need so much
pitching.
pitching, and I think you're going to see that keep happening.
I think Mike Trout also likes being a father.
Probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's probably
Okay,
not-
so we've got 5 things. The
What
5
else
things
does he
Mike
like
Trout
to
likes.
do?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're an Angels fan, hope this is the start of more pitching, and I think it is, man.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Speaking of pitching, another little tidbit: the Phillies deny that they ever were trying to trade Zach Wheeler. Said they wouldn't even trade him for Babe Ruth, which is a really,
smart.
really good call.
That's good GMing.
If someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, you know, we got Babe Ruth, we can trade him," you say, "No, I don't believe you."
No, they don't have a GM, so that's kind of their problem right now.
Well,
That's the owner of the team saying that stuff. They're looking for a GM, if correct, right? And a baseball ops
Good.
guy. I think they might be.
you know what
So-
Jake and I keep saying that we're happy about? It's owner dunk season.
Yeah.
Phillies owner and Uncle Steve Cohen is dunking on reporters left and right. And you know how like
Trevor Plouffe might have started this, by the way, by going after
we're
the big
about
Jays.
to we're about to have a bunch of reporters on for winter meetings, and everyone that we're having on we like and respect and appreciate
Yes.
and don't do this. But you know how apparently Bill Gates and some other rich people were trying to tell the world leaders, like, hey, we're due for a pandemic. Like, this is going to swing around, you know? Well, sports media, especially baseball, is due for a little bit of a comeuppance and, like, cut the bullshit. And I like that Uncle Steve on the Mets and the Phillies owner are kind of starting this. And I hope every owner and every GM just starts doing this. Like, nope, no truth to that. Because,
Wrong.
I mean, if you're, a lot of people listen to us for news, and we sift through the headlines to find out what should we talk about, and the amount of stuff that just offhand you go, oh, that's bullshit, or oh, that doesn't pass a sniff test right now is amazing. It's probably 8 out of 10 articles this offseason where you're just like,
that's why we're the best in the biz, Jim.
Trev, we did a Talkin' Yanks episode where I was like, all right, give it to me, BBD. Like, tell me all the rumors. Let's do a rumors episode. And I mean, you go find it, listen. I just started
Made it about 20 minutes.
Because I started reading the actual meat of the article, and I was like, oh my God, there's nothing.
Meat.
There's no meat.
Meatless.
Headlines.
And it was just all, and they framed the headlines, and you're like, you see how they did it, but you're like, ha ha, you fuckers.
Yeah.
You know, it's just bad. So I'm excited. I'm happy about the Phillies owner denying any reports, even if they did offer Babe Ruth, which I'm glad no one did.
It's even if you were thinking about trading him, there is no reason to say we're thinking about trading him.
Yeah.
Like ever. Like it ruins his trade value. And guess what? You're in Philadelphia. You're in a similar situation as the Angels are. You have one of the best players in baseball. You sign into a long-term deal. You need to figure some stuff out to get to the playoffs.
They need bullpen. They had the starting pitching. We actually found, dove in. It was all there. Wheeler was good. Nola was good. Arrieta was kind of good. They just didn't have any relief help. So hopefully that's on their way. It should be all falling soon. The other headline we have here is that the MLB told teams to operate under the assumption of no universal DH, which is how every team should have been operating in the National League anyway, until they say otherwise. But we kind of talked about this. This is a bargaining chip for the players. Even if the players want universal DH, they don't want to give up a bargaining chip before the bargaining happens. So they're going to hold this close to their vest. And once the CBA comes around after this next season, then they'll say, hey, we have something you want. We want something in response. Even if the players want it as well, they can't let go of any leverage. So that's how they're going to try to play it. The owners are going to try to play this like 3 days before the season starts, like, hey, we'll give you blah, blah, blah if you give us the universal DH, and try to make a swift change when their backs are against the wall.
A little more playoff money, get you the DH. Yeah, we'll see. I think with this, that's a little trickier because every NL team would be straight fully up in arms if they did that again. Like this year, at least there was extenuating circumstances. We'll see. I mean, I think they are, that being said. But yeah, I mean, get ready for bar trivia. What were the last 2 years the pitchers hit in the NL? And it'll be 2019 and 2021. And 2020 was the year of the pandemic. And they'll be like, this trivia night blows. So, I don't know. It sucks. It sucks for Adam Duvall. It sucks for Kyle Schwarber. All of those power hitting, corner outfielders that are probably better served at a DH spot. And I think that's why the owners also don't care this year, because the market on those players is just going to be driven down. Supply and demand, half of the demand just went down, and there's extra supply out there this year. So, kind of sucks. And I don't know. I could see a curveball development on all of this, but doubt it.
You in a trivia night. That might be my nightmare.
Jake and I won trivia. Sauced barbecue spot, Livermore, California. We were eating some white nachos. We won trivia.
Oh, nachos sound delicious.
Yeah, good nachos. We won the trivia, and then I think I used the discount code that we won on a date with my fiance Caitlin the next week or something like that.
Wow.
Cupid trivia.
Okay.
Yep. She didn't know. She thinks I paid.
Yeah.
I agree with your assessment, Jake, of the universal DH. It does suck for those guys that are coming who really don't have a position. It also sucks for the NL pitchers who got a year off from having to do it, and now they have to pick the bat up again, and they're going to be looking even more ridiculous than usual next year because they had a year off of hitting. So it is a bargaining chip. It is going to happen eventually. But just, you're right, Jim. They're going to save this thing. No reason to give any little morsels that you don't need to give up.
Agree. And big news, I just bought Elias' baseball book of records.
Wow.
It'll be sent to the office soon, and I will become Mike Francesa and just read the numbers slowly aloud on air. I'm very excited. Trev, you probably didn't watch a lot of talk sports radio. Probably a lot of people didn't watch a lot of sports talk radio, but it was on in my house from 10 to 5 every single day. And like the kitchen TV, the family room TV, my house was surrounded by Mike and the Mad Dog. So pretty exciting that I'm going to have how he has the record book and he just kind of like thumbs through it. 1967. It's going to be my new show.
Probably be problematic.
It's going to be my new show.
Mad Dog does not like me.
Yeah.
He's
Mad
out.
Dog? He doesn't know who you are.
Yeah,
No, he does.
They got in a fight.
Yeah, but someone like just told him like if you
I think Mad Dog would be offended.
If we were to go up to Mad Dog and be like, so what was that thing with Trevor Plouffe about? He'd be like, Trevor Plouffe? Who? Oh, that thing? Oh, I don't know. Like that.
In my defense, that's how he would react to anybody's name.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
the same
It's a good
thing. He's
counter.
been doing it for 35 years, and you guys
Counter.
eat it up, which is insane to me. And another reason why we're better than anybody in the business.
I don't know if I eat up Mad Dog anymore. I don't.
Well, he did for a long time. Same thing.
You know what I eat up about him? His like listening face.
I want you guys to notice though, because I'll see. I don't watch MLB Network, but I'll see it on my Twitter feed, and whenever Mad Dog has guests on, there hasn't been a player since the whole thing went down. It's only Tito.
No, we heard that players.
Or who's the guy?
I don't know, man. MLB Network's guy is a mess. They're a mess. I just did a whole segment with it on with Ant on my morning show, and it's just like, why do you guys wear suits? Like, why do you guys wear suits? You're talking about baseball. Like it's a fucking game. Baseball. It's a game. It's a game. They sit there buttoned up in suits and they talk like with more seriousness than political news channels. Like the coverage of the election was less serious than whatever that MLB Network show is where they're all wearing suits. And the conversations are good. I'm not knocking like the content. The presentation is preposterous. Every time I see it, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? This is a game. They're like literally talking. Weird. That's why Jake wears the little Rascals outfit.
I was going to say, we this pod and the style, we maybe shouldn't be talking down upon anybody else's style, but I see what you're saying, Jim.
I'm just saying a 14-year-old kid,
guys.
14-year-old kid isn't going to see that on the screen. Be like, this looks interesting.
Yeah, I also don't want to see, like I said, these guys, even the baseball players, older guys, they're out of shape wearing a suit, like trying to fit it all in, like tucking everything in. Like that's not a good look.
Doing baseball drills. That's
like,
when I get
doing
weirded
baseball
out.
drills in the suits.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Billy
it's not a good
Ripken.
look.
I like Sean Casey. I like Billy Ripken, but I don't want to watch them in suits practicing their picks. The night of the NBA draft, by the way. Got BBD with that one. Couple other quick housekeeping. Dick Allen passed away. I know that's not normally our lane, but it's been nice seeing all the MLB people talk about him because I didn't know a ton about him. I knew some of the stats and stuff, but a lot of good stories about him. Jim Cott was talking about it on MLB Network. A lot of fun stories around him. Sluggers, one of the best hitters of all time. And the other thing, Trev, I was going to get a scouting report from you. Matt Whistler, big signing. He goes to the Giants. Tore it up for your Twins this year.
You know, good for him.
Okay.
I like what the Giants are doing.
I like reading
I'm a
Trevor
Giants
Plouffe
fan.
stuff.
Me and
He's
my
got a
boy
lot of
Gabe.
good takes.
Gabe. We still got to get Gabe. Have you hit up Gabe?
Yeah, I talked to him.
More like brother
He's
Gabe.
the man.
Gabe Ruth.
He wants to engage, do content with us. So
Ready?
we'll figure some stuff out. Maybe do a workout video. Get you on.
Coach me
working
up
out with Gabe.
Oh, he would
Jake and Gabe work out.
ruin me.
I mean, if Gabe is awesome, then if we ever do see him, you have to wear the white linen outfit he wore in his beach magazine shoot. Maybe we should just recreate that anyway and send it his way.
Yeah.
Before we do the interview.
I love it.
Get like a really awful fake spray tan.
Just color
your bodies are like the opposite of each other, so it'll play well together in photos.
In what sense?
What sense do you mean when you say the opposite?
Yeah.
Well, Gabe was a little longer and a little tighter,
fair.
where you're like a little
I could see that.
shorter and not as tight.
Shorter, not as tight.
In that regard, you're opposite.
So like
you don't see that in the dating profiles.
Jake,
I'm looking for a shorter, not as tight guy.
That's what my Tinder said.
Yeah.
Well,
tender.
I would say list your job first, and then you can say that.
Bug eater from birth.
6'6", 230, 6-pack. Abs.
If you put your height in like a regular social media profile, you are a loser. You're a loser. I'm sorry. If you're putting 6'7", in your profile, you have nothing else to offer.
Well, so there's a saying out there that goes, "Tall guys have no personality."
Congrats on the job, Chris Young.
That's a weird hire, right?
It is a weird hire, and
I don't know anything about it. Like, I don't know Chris Young's makeup, mindset, what he's been doing in all these other positions, but it's just weird to me that, I don't know, just it's like 5 years out of playing.
A lot of people just love on that guy, and I think I talked to a few guys in the Royals that played with them, and they loved them. So,
I mean, smart guy, Princeton, played baseball and basketball, and he always seemed like the smart guy that was on the path for something. He's clearly got to be into the analytics stuff.
I love Trev's rebuke when you say, like, oh, smart guy went to Princeton.
Yeah, that's
Trev's
true.
like, well, he got a sports
Trev got an offer to Stanford. Well, Princeton can't give out sports scholarships.
Oh, okay, so that's a real one.
Yeah,
okay,
he's a real one.
But where did you get a scholarship to?
Stanford.
Stanford, yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
People say is better than the Ivy League.
I think the
Stanford people say.
The hope is this starts connecting more dots to baseball. Like, yes, get the nerds, get the smart people to look at the numbers and evaluate it, but also have the baseball sense of what's going on. So hopefully Chris Young can do that.
He's like a Sam Fold, you know. He went to the dark side a little bit, worked in the league office, but player knows the game, knows how to relate to guys, knows how to speak the language.
Ooh.
And he's tall, and that means something.
It really
We're
does.
Back to this. You walk in a room, it's Chris Young. He's 1,000 feet tall.
Impactful.
And he actually has substance. He doesn't list his height in his profile.
No.
He doesn't need to.
Do you know Bobby Skinner, host of Talkin' Giants, is 6'6"?
I can tell.
He's big.
I've told you guys I'm a little scared of him. I try to interact with him on Twitter. He really always big leagues me. So
yeah.
Well, you got to check mark, dude.
I was like, I'll every Sundays I'll do a Talkin' Giants tweet and interact with the guys, and they'll like that. And then I got stood up. So I was like, you know what?
They're busy.
Screw those guys.
They're grinding.
Beat the Seahawks. Go Giants.
Beat your Hawks, Trev. Wow.
It was an embarrassment. It really was. I'm sorry. You guys played some good defense, but that was just a complete letdown game.
Russell Wilson, 5'8".
Weirdo. Grade A weirdo.
Not a weirdo. He is a stud.
Sierra.
Weirdo. All right. That's it. Next week we will be debuting Jake's new back tattoo, much like Marcus Stroman's, except it's got all of our faces smoking cigarettes. So we're excited about that.
Blunts.
He's been in pain.
Love Marcus Stroman. I'm so in on him.
That's the end of this episode of Talkin' Baseball. Thank you for making the trades, giving us some stuff to talk about. I enjoyed it very much. See you guys later. Goodbye.